Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another brand new video. Today we're going to be addressing my most hated part of my car.
Speed it up, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. Speed it up, 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 speed it up.
And when I say hated, I mean hated. I'm not sure what I did to these people to deserve the amount of diabolical comments that I'm finding in my Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, no matter what it is. Everyone seems to hate this steering wheel, and it's honestly not that bad because at the same time, it's just a content booster, and so many people see more of the video just because of the fact that it's so like irregular and you never see it before. And the best part of it is 99% of the comments that people are talking about this steering wheel is people who are on private accounts, who don't have any photos on their accounts, probably have no car themselves. They're just in your comment section trolling, and I'm sure a lot of you guys who are watching my video right now also get stuff like that in your comment sections. But at this point, I'm getting more and more traction on all the content that I'm posting. It's honestly really good for getting people's attention, so I'm not gonna complain. Now, with that being said, first things first, I'm not giving in to these haters or people who are dissing my car. I could care less. At the end of the day, it's my car and not theirs, so I really do not care what other people think. But today, we have a new mod that's going to be replacing the Yoke steering wheel. Now, I will not be getting rid of this wheel, so if you guys are going to comment how much for the wheel, or I've been looking for something like this, and can I buy it off you? No, I'm not going to be selling this wheel. I'll probably be switching back and forth between this one and the other wheel that I'm about to show you guys, just because I really like this, and it's honestly something that I'm probably never going to find again, so I'm not going to get rid of it. And as you guys know, in the center here, I have the OEM dry carbon fiber Alcantara M Performance shift knob, and this thing is super clean. I love this thing. I've had it for almost 3 years now. The quality is amazing, and it feels so much better than the stock M Performance shift knob that I had, which wasn't bad in the first place, but this just enhances the feel of shifting. It's almost like a short shifter now. So the new steering wheel that I just got is actually perfect match to this shift knob. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. Here it is, you guys. So this is the OEM from BMW Alcantara M Performance steering wheel, and it's got the white stitching around the edges, as you guys can see right here. It's got the 12 o'clock red stripe, and then it's got the dry carbon fiber M Sport centerpiece. So as you guys know, I currently have an M3 style centerpiece, which I don't know if I'm going to keep that or if I'm going to swap over to the M Sport one. At the end of the day, this is a 328, so I'm not trying to be an M3, even though I have M3 wheels and some other M3 parts. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not, so I think I'm going to stick with the dry carbon fiber one that came on the wheel just for now, and if I want to swap back to the M3 one, I can always do that. So as you guys can see, this weave perfectly matches my shift knob. See, it's a dry carbon fiber. It's got texture to it, same exact texture, same exact stitching. It's got the white stitching as well as the Alcantara and the carbon fiber. So this is going to be a perfect match to the new steering wheel, and I think it's overall going to complete the look of the interior of the car. Not to mention the fact that the 12 o'clock is red, just like my interior. So this is quite literally a perfect match. I got this gifted to me from a coworker, so I'm blessed. Thank you so much to him. I didn't actually have to buy this one. Otherwise, I probably would have just stuck with the Yoke wheel, but I'm just trying to switch it up, you know. I'll make some content for you guys. I'll show you guys how to install this thing. And if you guys have never taken apart the wiring on an M Performance wheel or an M3 wheel, I'll be walking you guys through on how to do that. So let's head back to the house really quick and let's install this thing. Now, before we take off this steering wheel for the next little while, it won't be gone for good. This thing's staying around. We're gonna take our little last drive with this steering wheel. This is gonna be the final drive with this thing for a little bit after we switch to this M Performance one. And I get a lot of people asking, how hard is it to drive with this? And honestly, it feels normal. At this point, I've been driving with this thing for almost 2.5 years now, so it feels completely normal to me. And the only time I've ever had trouble with it is when I'm in Mexico. Obviously, in Mexico, trying to slide the car. It's a little tricky when you're trying to drift and you missed the Bluetooth on the wheel. So that's the only time I've ever had problems. And I've even done it in the snow as well. When it snowed in Oregon, I took the car out, and I don't know if you guys seen that video. I'll link it right here in the top right of the screen. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I took the car out in the snow a while back, and it didn't do so good with rear wheel drive and it being slippery. But it was really fun with the yoke, because the whole time you're drifting in snow, the wheel moves really slowly, as opposed to if you're just trying to drift on dry cement, or if it's raining outside, it moves a lot quicker. But in the snow, I could just one-hand it super slow, and it was really fun. But I would say that's the only time it's ever been tough to steer with this thing. And another thing that's actually really fun about it, as I go around this corner here, whenever I'm changing gears around corners, people ask, it's a manual car, you're always having one hand on the steering wheel, is it tricky in that aspect? The answer is no, once again, just because I know exactly where to grab the wheel. And an example is I just hook my hand on the top of the wheel, which is honestly kind of fun. You can just whip the car around however you want with the top of the steering wheel, which you can't do with a normal wheel. Another question I get asked about the steering wheel is, where did you get that thing? Where did you buy it? Is it custom made? Did you take a Sawzall to the wheel? All those answers are no. I have a friend named Parker. I'll throw his Instagram up on the screen right here. Anyways, he used to have a really, really fast F80 M3 that was full bolt-on with pure stage 2 turbos, and the thing had like 750 horsepower with rear wheel drive. And he had this steering wheel on that car. Now, if you put 2 and 2 together, 750 rear wheel horsepower and a steering wheel that isn't complete is probably not the best idea in the world. So, at the end of the day, it's kind of sketchy if you're losing traction trying to countersteer and you have half of the wheel missing. So, he actually ended up selling that car, and oh, I almost just hit a chipmunk. It's okay, he's living. We dodged him. He ended up selling that car for a single turbo all-wheel drive 340, and he parted out the car. So he asked me if I wanted to buy the wheel. I said of course. So he gave me a good deal on the wheel. He custom ordered this from a company. I don't know exactly which company it was, but I just bought it off of him when he was parting out the F80. So I lucked out on a cool wheel that you'll never really see again. I've never seen one. I've seen one other guy with a yoke style wheel on an F30. His name is Matty's Beamers on Instagram. He had a single turbo 340 manual as well, and that thing was rear wheel drive. And he's the only other F30 owner with a manual, at least, that I've seen have a yoke on their car. So that's how I got this wheel. My friend Parker sold it to me when he parted out his F80, and I've had it since for the past like 2.5 years. So I've enjoyed it for the time that I've had it. It's just, I got this new wheel from my coworker, and I might as well throw it on for a little bit just to see how it is. So once we get home, we'll start installing that thing, and we'll see if it's better or worse than the current yoke wheel. Alright, we are now home, and it is now time to install the new wheel. So laid out on the toolbox here, I have the first wheel that came with the car. This is the M Sport steering wheel. This is heated, and then it's just black leather with black stitching. Nothing super fancy, but it is a nice wheel. It does have the heated feature, which is nice in the wintertime. Then we have the Alcantara M Performance steering wheel with the carbon fiber trim. And then lastly, we have the yoke wheel, which is currently in the car. Let's remove this, and then we're going to swap over some of the components from this steering wheel, which is the back on it, and then we're going to swap over the buttons from that wheel onto this wheel. So we have 3 steering wheels that we're going to transfer over to this one steering wheel. First step is to grab yourself 2 microfiber towels. Put the first microfiber towel through the trunk loop like this, so your trunk isn't able to close, just like that. With the second one, go ahead and remove this side panel here. or wherever your battery is located. And grab a 10mm wrench or socket and take off the negative lead on the battery terminal. Once you take off the lead, wrap it in this so it doesn't get into contact with any other metal. First step is going to be now removing the airbag here. And what you're going to do to remove this airbag is grab yourself an Allen wrench or some sort of flathead screwdriver that's going to fit in the holes on the side of the steering column here. What you're going to do is shove it in there until you feel a little spring. Push the spring and pull out on the steering wheel on both sides. Here's what those springs look like on the new steering wheel. So if you guys look right here, there's this small little spring right here. Essentially what you're doing is you're shoving the Allen wrench in there so you can press this spring sideways so it's able to release a pin that is holding in the airbag. Then you can just pull straight out. Take your airbag and place it somewhere secure with the face up in case anything explodes, then it doesn't launch itself. Next, grab yourself a 16mm socket with an extension and a breaker bar, ratchet, or gun, and take off that center bolt that's in the middle of the steering wheel. I will also mention that there are two connectors in the back of the steering wheel that are connected to the hub, so unplug those before you actually take off the wheel. After you've done that, you can pull the wheel off. And we're off. Alright, we now have all three of the steering wheels laid out. I'm going to go ahead and start disassembling the yoke wheel so I can move over the buttons and everything to the new Alcantara wheel. First step of disassembly is grab yourself a T20 and remove these two corner screws that are holding in this middle trim piece. After those two front screws have been removed, turn it around, and in the back middle here, there's going to be another T20. Go ahead and remove that. After those three have been removed, you should be able to pull off this front trim piece. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove this back trim piece, this black piece here. And in order to do that, there's going to be another two T20s on either side near the paddle shifter holes. My car did not come with paddle shifters because it's a manual car, so these are empty, but go ahead and remove those two. Since I'm not using the M3 style backing plate off of that wheel, I'm using the M Performance one with the sealed back. I'm just going to go ahead and move this onto the new wheel just so I don't have to worry about it. Alright, it's about 30 minutes later now. I have swapped over the buttons to the new steering wheel. I'm not going to show you guys exactly how to route this thing because if your car has different options than mine, it's going to be pointless to you. But I have like lane assist and then a heated steering wheel originally, so I have those two extra modules. But essentially what you want to do is route the wiring for the two buttons in and out of these little hooks that are provided, and just ensure that they're not going to be blocking these holes right here, which you stick the screwdriver through if you have to take the airbag off again. Once that's all wired up, we can now put on the trim piece, and then it's going to go back into the car. Make sure you connect these connectors back into the spots they were in, and then you're going to want to go ahead and hand thread this bolt in until it's tight, and then I'll tell you guys the torque spec in just a minute. After you've hand threaded and tightened the center bolt, go ahead and grab a 3/8 torque wrench and set it to 46 pound-feet of torque. Then you're going to want to grab your extension and 16mm socket and torque this down to 46 pound-feet of torque. Ready? Alright, thank you. Once you've torqued down the steering wheel bolt to 46 pound-feet of torque and plugged in the 2 connectors into the column, you can go ahead and grab your airbag once again and plug it in and push it back in. Now it's time to reconnect the negative terminal on the battery. Now for the part that I really hope doesn't go wrong. We're good. Alright you guys, the new wheel is 100% installed into the car. It's already 9:31 p.m. so I'll give you guys an update in the morning on how this thing drives. I'll meet you guys once I'm on my way to work tomorrow. I want to be able to show you guys how this thing looks in the daytime, so I'm going to cut to when it's the morning and you guys will be able to see it a whole lot better. 3, 2, 1. Alright you guys, it is now the next day. We're about to take the car for the first drive. It is now actually daytime, so here if I roll down the windows. Here's what the new wheel is looking like in the daytime. Now I did take this for a drive last night just to test it out really quick and it felt amazing. The quality of the wheel is 100% better than the previous wheel. Just not that the previous wheel was bad, but OEM compared to aftermarket is day and night. The only complaints I have so far are the fact that I think when I put in the motor for the lane assist or lane departure, I didn't clip it in all the way because whenever my blind spot detection goes on, it rattles really loud. So I'm gonna have to take off the airbag and then tighten that down or something, make sure that's good. And then my wheel is slightly off to the left just because I think when I installed the last wheel, when I got in alignment, I had to adjust my tie rods so then I could pull the wheels straight while the steering wheel was straight. So I'll have to adjust that, but let's hop into the car and take it for the first actual drive in the light time and check out how this wheel feels. Right off the bat, I can actually use the top of the steering wheel now, so that's a plus. But quality of product, it feels amazing. The Alcantara feels just like the Shift now. There's literally no difference. It's same texture, same feel. Feels amazing. The thickness of the wheel overall feels very similar to the OEM M Sport wheel, which is very comfortable as well as sporty. It's got the little lobes right above your thumbs where your thumbs are able to lock into, so when you're going around corners you have a little bit extra grip. Overall quality and just visual appearance of this wheel, 100% recommend this if you have the $400, $500 to fork up, whatever it costs. I'll have to look on BMW's website, but this is how much it costs right here, which depends on if you guys are okay with spending that much on a steering wheel.
Speed it up, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. Speed it up, 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 speed it up. Go faster, ayy, go faster, ayy, go faster, ayy, go faster, ayy. I'ma wake up, go dumb. I'm pray to God like a nun. I'ma put that on my son. I'ma go like D2.
Alright you guys, that's going to conclude today's video. If you all enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave it a like and consider subscribing. And let me know down below what you guys like better. If you guys like the OEM Alcantara wheel better or the Yoke wheel better. And just as a disclaimer, no, I'm not selling the Yoke, so please don't ask in the comments. If I do end up selling it, I'll be sure to let you guys know as soon as possible. But once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.